Okay, guys, time to dish out some justice. We got ourselves a Pudge griefing in the Crusader, I think, bracket. He's 3-9. Looks like the game is rough. He's got normal items. I'd say 3-9 is not all that crazy. I've seen a lot of Jenkin's Pudge, and this is probably above average.
BSJ is a dangerous sociopath.
Banana slam jam.
Okay, so he tried to, like, cut the creep wave and then died. That was a little sus. So now he's Shadow Amuleted, sitting in the side lane. Dude, you have an Anti-Mage and a Tinker, and you picked Pudge. Did you expect to be winning? This Shadow Amulet started when they were down by 5k. That's, like, completely reasonable to be down by 5k with the Anti-Mage Tinker. What is wrong with you people? Guilty as charged, Pudge. The chappie does not get away with, does not go under the radar of BSJ, even if you are invisible in game. I see you. Hard support Techies griefing. Did he just think the opponent wouldn't... Wait, what? Was he, like, trying to cut the... Is this the next level grief of feeding mines to the opponent for 25 gold? Okay. This is a first. So I did see in my comments section, somebody said, I actually watched BSJ's Judge Jamma series just to learn new ways to grief. And I didn't necessarily intend that from my Judge Jamma series, I'll be honest with you. That was not a possible repercussion that I considered of doing this. And I'm pretty sure the only person that learned anything from watching this game is that guy. So this is impressive. I will say I've never seen anything like this. And it is 100% griefing. So guilty as charged. A for creativity. A for creativity. I've never seen that. Windranger. We got a hard support in Divine that is griefing. So he's already 0-2. He is a supporter of OG, though. So he probably reads his emails. Or doesn't read his emails. Okay, so he's hard support. He's got a null talisman. Hitting up the newts. Something tells me that he's not trying to support. Okay, he is gonna get the pull off. He's literally taking farm from his Wraith King's skeletons. Okay, guys. So right now, we have a system. And that system revolves around the fact that a lot of people want to play core. Okay, I understand that. A lot of you guys don't enjoy playing support. You think it's some beta cuck role, even though it's not, let's be clear. And you think that in order to role queue, you have to queue hard support in order to gain role queue games so that you can then play carry later. And the whole idea of a community is that we all take equal sacrifice, you know, for the greater good. So if what you're telling me is you have to play hard support 20% of your games, because every time you play hard support, you earn, if you queue everything, which most of the time you'll get hard support, you're going to earn 4 role queue games, unless they change that. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And I've talked about, in a lot of my videos, that any core player would learn a lot playing support. You guys can learn a lot about the map. You can learn a lot about how to be a better core player by playing support. You are doing your civic duty such that the guy who also did the same can play core when he wants to, okay? So what is wrong with you pieces of shit that are so selfish? You're so selfish that you get stuck playing hard support, and your idea of the game I'm stuck playing hard support, I'm going to just jungle Windranger and be 0-5. What is wrong with you guys? Just suck it up and learn something. Like, you could actually learn something. This is a lesson for life, man. Fuck. It actually pisses me off how many people do that, man. That's like 100% what happened there. 100%. The guy's like, I'm divine, I'm stuck playing support. My YouTube editor took it upon himself to release a pseudo-rant / talk about what's wrong with NA Dota. And it wasn't about the toxicity and everything. I wasn't even purposely flaming NA Dota. But I was talking about how the support pool was severely lacking. And I think that the support pool lacking also goes with the fact that it's harder to have a vision of the game when you're playing core. It's hard to understand map movements and what needs to be done objectively, like around objectives when you're a core. It really is, because you just don't have enough time between all the CS and all the APM to focus on that kind of stuff. And it is a reason why all of you core players, especially in NA, because that's where I'm from and I see it a lot, have virtually no concept of the team game. Because when you're forced to support, you're that Windranger. So, screw you guys. I actually hate you. But for any of you out there that are like, you know, open-minded enough to acknowledge that you're doing this, and you may be like, now that BSJ brought it to my attention that I could maybe learn a little bit and stop being a piece of shit, that I could do something better for the community. And hopefully, you know, the more and more people we get like this, the less people will have whining about how bad the community is when they're probably doing it too. And the more we'll have of people that are, you know, mutually beneficial situations here, you know? You do, you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So we see the Techies feeding his lane, it looked like. What's his K to D on Ember? He's 0-4? So it seems like he's trying up until this point. And then his Techies doing what he just did sent this guy off the deep end is what it appears. See, like, continuously feeding for the rest of the game? What's this guy doing? I don't think that was a throw. Let's keep watching. I think this one is TBD, honestly. It looks like he's playing the game. It legit looks like this guy's playing the game. Like, he's 2-9 or whatever, but he's playing the game. He's cutting creep waves, trying to show up to fights, sniping couriers, dying because he has bots, but I think he's legit trying. That didn't look like he just showed up bottom to rage and then tried to feed. That didn't look like that. A fight actually occurs. He shows up again, trying to kill the Medusa. You know, I was gonna try to be a bit of a smartass. It's hard in my nature to just completely go against my instinct to be a smartass sometimes. And after he fed down mid with that Techies, I was gonna just guilty him here. But I knew in the back of my mind that all those YouTube viewers out there that said, BSJ, you have to watch the whole thing. See the whole picture. And I'd say, yes, you know, you're right. Even though if I admit you're right, it makes me feel bad, but you're right. So I'm going to admit it. You're right. I think this Ember has proceeded to try to play this game. Albeit poorly. He's low MMR. But he tried. He's definitely playing. The game's not out of control. They're down by 3K. Had a rough laning stage, clearly. So let me paint you guys a picture for a second, okay? You're this Ember. You have to ask yourselves, you know, you're a judge here. You're not nearly as, you know, renowned and esteemed as I am, but you're a judge, and you're watching, or you're playing a game. So let's put ourselves in his shoes for this game. You're playing, and you're having a rough laning stage. You're whatever this badge is, maybe Archon, Legend. It's not very high. And you go, I've never played Ember versus Medusa before. And you just don't do a great job of dodging the snake. And then you just get your entire Flame Guard worn off by that snake. You didn't skill build correctly. You went 0-3-2, so your Flame Guard doesn't tank it. And now you're 0-2 in lane. Okay? You're 0-2 in lane, and you're struggling. And suddenly, your hard support or 4-position Techies walks up right in front of you and blasts off the creep wave when you're like almost level 6 and you're having a rough one. Would you deem it reasonable that you would, quote-unquote, lose your shit for a few seconds and just say, what the hell's going on? Die in the mid lane, you just feed yourself to the tower, you're dead, and then you snap out of it, bounce back, and play the entire game as best you can from a really hard situation? Does that seem reasonable as a human being? Would we deem this guy a guilty piece of crap? And I would say no. That seems like a reasonable human reaction that proceeded to then try to play the game. So, not guilty. Moving on to the next one. I honestly would report the Techies, if anything. Like, your Ember Spirit's struggling in the mid lane. He's 0-2, and he's down by a level and a half, and you just say, I'm going to blast off your creep wave. He's the bigger asshole than the frickin' Ember Spirit here. It's not because he's Techies. It's because the fact that he's like the classic Dota player that my teammate's doing bad, and because my teammate misplayed his lane, it's a personal attack on me, and I have to take it out on him. There's way too many of you out there, guys. Not every player like that Ember who is dying in lane is doing it on purpose, okay? And that guy dying in lane did not do it just to fuck you over, okay? So, this guy is a hard support Wraith King. Looks like we have a repeat of the Windranger. But I'm going to see this out. So that Windranger clearly... That Windranger clearly wasn't trying ever. And so maybe this Wraith King is just an innovator. Maybe he thinks that he can carry this game. He even has some cool jungle strats. You guys see that? That was a cool jungle strat here. Let's see what he does. He buys Wraithband to give himself a little bit of attack speed and armor. Very cool. Summons the skeletons. Let's see what he does. This is pretty efficient farming patterns. That is ancient, I believe. Goes phase boots. Does he attempt to participate in the game with these phase boots? Based on his skill build, I'm thinking not. Oh, block his own camp. GG. The top tower died. Oh, got his ulti. Pog set up a kill mid. Dude, this guy's actually playing the game. Look at this. He's legit showing up and participating. I'm kind of disappointed he doesn't have a point in stun. That's a decently timed Radiance. Dude sets up another kill? Really not digging the skill build, though. That was a little greedy. Okay. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is actually kind of a tough one. I personally think there's a palpable difference between the way this Wraith King has played and the way the Windranger played. So I know it seems like probably the same thing to most of you. And I'm not saying it's because I'm like amazingly high level understanding. The Windranger was literally just yoinking farm from her teammates and like being useless, while this Wraith King is like being really bad for his team. Like he's not helping, but he is actually participating in the game. He's consistently set up a couple kills, but yet he is clearly ruining the game, right? Like just by the pick itself. But then in professional Dota, you see things like 4-position Venomancer. There's like this idea that by picking a jungler, you're ruining the game. And I think a lot of people would call this guilty. I think that... I'll actually lay down this line, because I think there has to be some precedent here, okay? If you're jungling as like an Enigma or a Venomancer, and you are queued up as a support, okay? Like, if you queue up as support and you play these junglers, if you look at those heroes, they buy, like, Helmdom or, like, Mech, you know? And they get those items at, like, 8 minutes into the game, and they proceed to, like, play the game like a support. You know what I mean? Like, that Enigma might buy a Blink, look for a team fight, and he's effectively a support. If you queue up for support and you pick a hero that is a literal carry, and then you're playing him as if you were the 1 position, I believe you are griefing. You are literally the same category after me thinking it out to myself as that Windranger. So I will say guilty, because I believe there's a firm difference between somebody who supports with the attempt to be a support that got, or jungles with the attempt to be a support by jungling, giving themselves a little bit of farm at the start, and have this clear vision of the game, rather than just trying to be a carry. So we will make that distinction. That's where we're at. And that's it for today. Dude didn't read the report. I mean, he didn't have suspicious movements in cast, guys. I'm gonna judge it based on the fact that he griefed the game, not because he fucking hacked. Like, what does a Wraith King do to hack? I will just assume that that wasn't a hack report, because it's not like a scripting hero. You can't script with Wraith King. Like, what are you doing with Wraith King? If you liked this video, please like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that shenanigans, because at the end of the day, YouTube does care about that. You may not care about it, I may not care about it, but the YouTube algorithm does. So, please do.